Who do you become when you stop playing small? Hey, I'm Tiffany, your guide to exploring inner growth and transformation. So excited to have you here. Welcome. So, most people think that transformation or growth is about getting something new. And there's all these universal laws taking place at work that maybe we're not aware of. And one of them is the law of sacrifice. I don't know why I'm so drawn to the law of sacrifice. Maybe it's because it motivates me so much. It's the idea that you have to give up something of lesser value to gain something of greater value. So I'm going to share my personal story, and you maybe you can relate to this, or you have a different personal story. Captain Obvious, that's what personal is. Um, about what it means to stop playing small, the law of sacrifice in action for me. So one of the things, and I've talked about this in other videos, is that we often have a hard time stepping into a new version of ourselves because it means letting go a past version of ourselves. And that past version has protected us from something. That past version has been an unhealthy coping mechanism. That past version just no longer fits our lives. So, my personal story, I struggled in school hardcore. I remember being in a special reading class when I was in third grade. And once I got to that reading class, man, it took off. I was reading like crazy. I still love to read to this day. I barely graduated high school. Like, I mean, by the seat of my pants only, and I got a GED in high school, not an actual high school diploma, because I just came in, did some modules, and then I graduated. But that's also how I did all of my college education, was completely online, and to do these modules and to write these papers and to do the things, and easy peasy. That's how my brain works. Um, but for a long time, stupid's a heavy word, but I felt really like I was stupid. I couldn't accomplish anything. I went and I got my associate's degree in human service management, like, whatever, doesn't mean anything. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology, and I was like, doesn't mean anything. I was working at a chicken factory at that time. Went back for my master's degree in mental health counseling. It never celebrated, didn't go to the graduation. Started my doctorate degree. I was like, well, fuck it. If I'm this far in debt with student loans, I've always wanted to be Dr. Tiffy just for the sake of being Dr. Tiffy because nobody thought that I could do anything. The hard part is I've never acknowledged these versions of myself as they're taking place. They've just been a checkbox along the way. This is the next thing I have to do, the next thing I have to do. I really excelled at college, probably because it was something that I wanted to do, something that I felt passionate about. So, the idea of stepping into the next version of myself, the law of sacrifice, which is giving up something of lesser value for greater value, I held on to that narrative for a really long time that I was stupid. Like, I just was incapable of whatever. Even as I was graduating and doing all these things, I think it was like I was 37 or 38 when I finally got diagnosed with ADHD. Like I had always known that there was something there, just didn't know the extent of it. And the diagnosis didn't change a whole lot, except for I can go get medication if I really want medication. But I typically am not medicated. Which kind of explains a lot of the struggles in school. I couldn't pay attention in a classroom when there was a bunch of kids. But that narrative started back when I was in third grade. I am 43, y'all. Third grade's a long time ago. And I have spent almost all of my life up until my 30s when I got diagnosed, like still thinking I was dumb on some level. Like I just didn't feel intellectual in any way, shape, or form. And so I was holding on to that narrative. Oh, this is important to the story. I was holding on to that narrative. And the reason that I was holding on to it is because I didn't have to show up. Nobody expected shit of me. I could do the bare minimum in my life and be like, look, here's the bare minimum. I don't need to do anything great or grand. Nobody had expectations of me. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to achieve anything great. But if you listen to my story, it's been all about achievement, right? It's been the next degree, the next degree, the next this, the next that. And deep down, I was trying to prove something to myself, but I was holding on to a narrative. I was doing this to further my life, but still holding on to this narrative of not needing to show up, which I can say in coaching was drastically like that's part of what it was is not wanting to show up in front of other people. Although as a therapist, I show up in front of other people every single day, at least 6 hours a day when I work, 4 days a week or whatever it is, right? But we develop those narratives of ourselves at a very young age. And for you as an individual, what you need to find out is what is the purpose of that narrative that you're holding on to in your life that's not allowing you to step into this next version of yourself, whether it's being a people pleaser or something in relationship where you want to please your partner. I guess that's people pleasing. Success, like me, finances, wanting to be more financially wealthy, but you keep yourself stuck in a cycle of debt to not ever get to that place. We all have narratives, and typically they run very deep. I'm talking childhood, primary caregivers, all of the things. We have narratives of ourselves that other people have told us and we haven't ever listened, like we've never questioned that. um and I'm rambling, but I hope you get my point. I don't want this to be a hour long. It's already 7 minutes. Yeah, it's figure out the narrative, how deep it runs, and why you're preventing yourself from stepping into the next version of yourself. And so, wrapping this back to plant medicine real quick, one of the major benefits of doing a plant ceremony, which only lasts about 15 minutes to a half an hour, is that in non ordinary states of consciousness, you lower your ego defenses enough to be aware of what the patterns are, or aware of what's going on, or aware of a deeper connection to something in the universe outside of you. And then through integration, the facilitation, and then through integration, which is the piece that me and my partner do, you have an action plan and accountability through a private Facebook group to do all of the things, to say, like, this is what I noticed, this is what I was stuck on, this is what I want to do. And then I say, here's how you do that. So if you are ready to stop or to step into the next version of yourself, drop the word evolve in the comments and let's have a conversation. As always, go download the free guide and have a good one.